Can we actually just talk about how people take the internet a little too serious?
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck, bro.
That's crazy.
I'm fucking around, dude. Like, people can't even tell sometimes when I'm joking, and I'm like, how can you not tell at this point when I'm trolling?
I think a lot of people can tell. It's just I think the people that sometimes have a lot of people that have YouTube accounts, I don't know. I think those people sometimes take shit too seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know how to define it though, but a lot of people it's like how people are always going to comment something negative too, right?
Yeah.
Like there's people that, like, for example, at the beginning, no one ever said like, I love Trump, I love Trump, I love Trump, or whatever case it was, but people will think it, but they're not going to comment that. It's going to be all the people that are like, fuck this guy, fuck this guy, fuck this guy, you know?
Yeah. And also, so I did this pod with Steve, and before the pod, me and Steve were like, oh, it'll be funny. We'll like think of like 3 like funny stories that are just complete jokes and just kind of like straight face them. And then talk about 3 like current topics, right? So it's exactly what we did. And then is
that pod still up?
That pod's still up. Okay. The one, it almost has like a 800,000. But anyway, so there's one story that like kind of got taken by all these like other channels.
Off the dog, yeah.
Talking about the dog.
So like on Twitter.
Yeah, like Hassan Hanabi or whatever the fuck that guy's name is. I don't mean to disrespect him at all. And then H3.
Oh, well, H3 talks about everything we do.
So this is my question though. My question is like,
he's been a longtime fan.
Yeah. So my question is like, do they actually genuinely believe? Because I know that they're smart. They're smarter than that. Like, do they actually genuinely believe that it was real? Because I saw their reactions and they were like, I can't believe this. This is so crazy. How are not people were not upset about this? And like all these like, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. He's so serious. It's
you know what I think too? They might just be just like us, where they're literally just looking for a title and a thumbnail.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think so.
That's fair.
I don't know. You might be right though.
But that's what I'm curious.
What if they're just sitting there and they're just like, you know what, we're gonna talk about this. It's gonna get views, and then
they don't want to just a cloud. That's it.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're kind of running a business too. So I think that they just, who knows though.
I don't. I genuinely am curious about that because I saw reactions and I was like, did they really think that was real?
Like even when we went out right now this weekend to a trip with Happy Dad, people were asking him, "Hey, do you actually do this?" It's like, bro, no.
They were asking about the dog thing?
Oh my God. He was for sure saying, yeah, I do, huh?
No, Steve.
You know Steve. Steve just fuck around.
Yes. That's exactly right.
But that's what I'm saying. People can't tell the troll, bro. It's crazy.
I will say that one was a little tough to tell.
It was a little tough, but you know what it is, bro?
He was
I still don't know. I think Steve, if he gets a little hammered. No, man. I think he loves Donnie though. I think he loves Donnie, and he might be so for the boys that he's like, yo, I'm gonna fucking.
I'll tell you when you knew it was a joke.
If
you watch the pod,
bro, wait, you got to take into account that there's people that might watch for the first time and not know Steve's.
I get it.
And they're like, yo.
But this is when you could have known it was a joke. When Steve literally, we're talking about it, he's sitting there and he's going like, on the pod, he goes, yeah, and like I put Disney on, and like I get the IV gloves. I'm getting an IV, and I do it like so. It's like I'm not focused on this. I'm focused on Disney.
So
like,
that's what made it realistic for me when he's like,
really?
When he's like, I'm getting an IV. I was like, okay, this sounds like something he would do, bro.
It doesn't sound ridiculous.
Yeah, it's completely ridiculous,
dude. I thought it was fucking.
I don't know
hilarious.
how people believe that. It just was.
You didn't believe that, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay. That's what
I know he would do something stupid like that, but
up when you heard that's
just too far.
You were bricked up when you heard that. You told me.
No, man, shut up.
But I get what you're saying. It's like some people maybe have no exposure to it, and they're like, "What the fuck? This guy's weird."
I mean, if you don't know who the person is and you're watching that, you're like, "Damn, bro, this guy's dark," or like, "Yo, this is." But
also in the beginning of that podcast, we also made it really clear, like before we said any of those jokes, that we really like dark humor. Like if you watch the podcast, but the problem is people get the excerpt clips.
No, Tim Dillon said something in his special about some shit like that, I think, and that probably is what like triggered Steve to be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna."
Steve is all about dark humor.
He loves this shit.
Yeah, I do think that people now, for me now, it's more that like I think before we only had our diehard fan base, like NELKBOYS fan base, but now we're so big that I think more people know like what NELKBOYS is, even if they're not a fan, you know, especially after the whole like UFC, Trump,
Happy Dad.
When you get those like Elon Musk and Trump on like the pod, then you're bringing in new people that never watched you, like they haven't been following for the last X amount of years. And I think they just take you so seriously.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me how they do though. It's so weird.
I guess it's fair though too, because like there will be people who have never seen any of my other content and like they'll only know certain pieces. But maybe I'll explain something like 10 different times prior, but it's like they only saw that piece. So even if they just watched that one podcast or like they saw this one clip, that's the weird part about the internet though, is like people don't do any more like critically thinking. I was talking about this on a podcast with Sneeko. They don't do any more critically thinking about the stuff. They just go, I heard it. He said that. He thinks this about him. That's true. This is it. And it's not like, could this be a joke? And then giving that thought, or like, maybe it's not a joke, and then giving that more thought, and then looking at other content and then giving it more actual thought and like overall. Because like, I don't know. It's like, it seems like nowadays everyone's just caught up in like, they see like a thing, a certain in context, and they go, that's it. That's the truth, or that's what I think, or that's what I agree with. And that's it.